What's up, everybody? Divine here. I want to make another video because I don't think I've actually deeply talked about this and truly talked about some of the things, some things about Aloy that I feel like I should have. I don't know if I have. I need to go back and check my videos, but I do want to talk about her kit, and not in the sense of like how to play her kit, but I want to talk about team comps mainly, and builds. I really want to talk about these because I feel as if this is where a lot of Aloy's potential comes into play, because I do think she is very flexible. She's very, very flexible with where you can put her. First of all, artifacts. I really want to talk about these because I've tried multiple builds on her. I've tried a two-piece Glad for one, and a two-piece Shimenawas. Tried double attack, see how that felt. I tried that while I used slingshot, and I kind of did like it. I do think um it's a pretty good option, uh but I don't think it's necessarily like all that, like, especially if you have an attack percent weapon. Like, if you have an attack percent weapon, you don't need two-piece Glad, two-piece Shimenawas. But I think if you are running like something like slingshot, like, and you don't have many good bows, and this is like one of your best bows because it's a great 3-star bow. It's free, like, easy to get. If like you have like a weapon like this and you're gonna use it on Aloy, I think it's actually pretty good. Or you're using like a low base weapon or like an energy recharge weapon and you don't have high base. Double Shimenawas and Glad is really good. Like, it's nice to have that double just raw, stats. That's the great thing about two pieces. I didn't try, and like the thing about me is, and where I play, I don't like trying four pieces all the time. Only on certain characters, and only if I get like a really good build. But not all the times you can get the perfect build and the perfect four piece. So I ran a lot of two pieces, and it's just really nice to have raw stats, not be locked into a playstyle, not be locked into like, yeah, you have to like run this way. Like, for example, pyro characters. If you run a four-piece Crimson Witch, you mainly want to be doing pyro reaction. You mainly want to stack on EM. You know what I mean? Like, if you ran like a two-piece Glad and two-piece pyro, you could just run pure pyro damage and just that. I wouldn't say it would be better, but like, hey, it might be cool. So, four pieces are great. They're good. But I do think all of these two-piece options are actually very good. The next one I want to talk about is is the one I'm literally using. Two-piece Blizzard, two-piece Glad, or Shimenawas. Either or, because they both give attack. The reason I think this build is really good is because Aloy scales, I think, really, really, really good with cryo damage. Before this, I believe I hit, like, when I wasn't running, full cryo cup, full, two-piece cryo, I think I was hitting this for around 6k. Now I'm hitting for around 10k. And I think that Aloy is just really good with scaling with cryo damage. And I think, honestly, it was like one of the most satisfying builds. For real, because you can you can just melt, get a lot of damage out of that, and you're not really locked into a freeze playstyle, but you also can play a freeze playstyle if you really wanted to, because it's just cryo damage and attack. And that's what I mean by these two pieces are so good, because they're just raw stats. You're not, having to make a gimmick. It's kind of just getting raw, raw stats for your characters, and it makes building and team comps very flexible. I'm gonna kill this Ruin Hunter here, and done. Another thing I want to talk about is team comps. Character-wise, I ran mainly Sara, MC, and Sayu. The reason for this is because Aloy is very squishy. She's gonna need a healer. I don't it doesn't matter what you like, what kind of you stack on her. Her defense is super low. Her max HP is only 10,000. That's pretty good max HP. I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty decent, right? It's not the best like other characters, but it is a pretty good, decent ratio. But I still think like getting hit, you will get crushed. So I actually ran at one point Diona, and I ran a double cryo team. I really did enjoy this. I really did enjoy playing with double cryo. But after a while, I enjoy having that mobility and that, that speed and that, reduced cooldown. Because if you don't know, Aloy's skill has a 20-second cooldown. That is a very high cooldown for a skill. Like, I think only a very few characters has a cooldown, you know, for their skill to be that long. Only character I know who has that long of a cooldown is Xingqiu. And it makes sense because Xingqiu has damage reduction. So that makes sense. Aloy does decrease attack, and she does gain coil stacks, which does increase her normal attack damage. And once she gets 4 stacks, she will gain rushing ice. The only issue with this is that there is ICD, which is 0.0. So you cannot just, well, my bombs are gone, but you can't just suck them all up like with someone like Kazuha, because people like Kazuha and Jean, they suck up the bombs so quickly and throw them at your enemy so fast that they literally cannot gain all the stacks. And so even if you have all 6 bombs and you throw them at them, you're probably only gonna get like 4 to 3 stacks. Like mainly 3 stacks, or 3 to 2 actually. Let me correct myself. 3 to 2 stacks, and you won't ever get the 4 stacks. So then you're gonna be stuck there without the cryo infusion. And that is kind of bad, because if you're building full cryo, like for that cryo infusion, you're not going to be able to hit, as hard. You're not going to be able to tap into Aloy's full potential. And you're just going to lose out on DPS. So, I do think that Aloy is tough, but I genuinely feel as if with a little working, she can fit into a lot of teams, and she can fit into a lot of things. Other thing I want to talk about is weapons. I don't know if I talked about weapons yet, but I have been using the Predator bow. This bow only works for PlayStation players, so sorry PC and mobile people. I don't make the rules. They do. I don't know why they did this. But I also use Hamayumi and Slingshot. I don't have all the bows in the game, so you probably have better bows like Rust, or Viridescent Hunt, or some other bow that you got from some other place. If you got lucky, maybe a 5-star bow. Great. But with the bows I did try, being Hamayumi and Slingshot, I enjoyed both of these weapons. For one, I enjoy just having straight up crit rate. This is one of the only free to play ways to get a crit rate weapon, and it's a 3-star. So that's why I kind of said yeah, you should probably run a 2-piece Glad, a 2-piece Gymnalis, because the base is very low, very very low, 100 less than one of the lowest 4-stars. That is just horrendous. But you are gaining a large amount of crit rate. I do think though, the only reason you should run a 3-star weapon, sorry, not 5-star, 3-star weapon, is if you have Refined 5. Do not, I do not recommend running a 3-star weapon if you do not have a Refined 5, especially in this case, because it increases your damage by 60%, 0.03 seconds of being fired. If it hits someone, it'll increase your damage. If it doesn't hit someone in that time, it'll decrease it by 10. That's not that bad, honestly. A decrease by 10 for 60 increased damage, I'll take it. The other one I used was Hamayumi, and I think Hamayumi is really good. Actually just genuinely a good and one of the best free-to-play options. The reason I say this is because Aloy's burst gets up so quickly. She has a 40 cost and 40 energy cost, and she has a 12-second cooldown. That means you are getting your burst filled up very quickly off of just one bomb throw, because this bomb throw gives you 5 particles. So you can just fill your energy gauge up so quickly. And then if you're running double cryo, oh my god, your energy gauge is going to be burst. is gonna just go crazy. And before you know it, you're just gonna be spamming your burst. And I do think her burst is really good. So, with all that being said, I think Aloy has a lot of potential, a lot of team builds that she could be ran, a lot of weapons she could be ran with. And I just want to give just like my own suggestions and my own thoughts on what I think is good and what I think is, viable sets and viable gear to run. You can run whatever set you really want. You can run 4-piece, Blizzard. I heard that's really good, and it probably is really good because 40% crit rate for free. Thank you. Like, but my point in saying all this is that Aloy has a lot of potential, has a lot of team comps. I also did run a 2-piece Glad, 2-piece attack, which I actually did enjoy. Like at lower ranks when I was leveling her up, it was really good actually. It was actually, I think, really good. And if I use it now, I think it's going to be even better. So I do think that a 2-piece noblesse is actually good. So you could try that if you really do like it. If you really want to go full just insane, you could go full piece. You could go full 4-piece emblems and just spam burst all the time and not even worry about her skill or rushing ice at all. You can just spam burst. I know that's what Valk does, and I think honestly, Aloy has so many comps. So many comps. It's just hard to run. It's really just hard to put it all into one video because she has a lot of like flexibility. She has a lot of things she can do. She has a lot of things she can run as. I mainly run as DPS, so this is mainly focused on DPS Aloy and DPS Aloy things. If you're running her as support, she can do even more stuff. I didn't do that. I didn't run her support, so I don't really want to talk about that. But if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that is very much appreciated. Yeah. Have a nice day. See you and bye.